go ahead and get started tonight. Thank you. Before we start tonight's public comment section, make an announcement that the board met in executive session to discuss personnel, contract, and safety issues. With that, we'll move on into the public comment section tonight. Tonight we have Mr. Evan Basham, who'd like to speak on school safety and the need to return to mitigation strategies, part 2. I'll remind you, Mr. Basham, that you'll be 3 minutes for your presentation.
So I'm going to kind of pick up where I left off. My room was foggy with the humid mist. And the other elementary schools are stifling hot. Matter of fact, I was delivering my wife's subplans the other day, and even though it was 45 degrees outside, it was 83 in her room. I can't imagine the average temperature or humidity in the levels of classroom. We need proper ventilation now. This will help students to be able to breathe easier as airflow will be moving through the buildings. Take something like Southwest Airlines. It's added ventilation efforts to aircrafts which have people in close contact. They are seeing encouraging results regardless of lessening the transmission of COVID-19. By upgrading our HVAC systems, we can improve the educational environment to help drive down the community transmission, which, as you know, is through the roof. I handed it out, I got a packet, hopefully, to you guys about ASHRAE, the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. They provide guidance for schools and how to improve the ventilation. These engineers recommend that classrooms be under 75 degrees and have an average humidity percentage of less than 50%. There are many ways to drive down the community transmission, and I applaud your efforts that you put in last year's for the planning and execution of the mitigation strategies that Oil City Area School District demonstrated. We need to keep our political swords at bay and look at how we'll continue to help and keep the kids learning while minimizing our community transmission. This school district received more than $11 million in COVID relief funding. What is our plan moving forward? And as a taxpayer, will we receive public detailed accounts for how these funds will be used over the next 5 years? How are we going to capitalize on our investments in combating the COVID-19 while improving the learning environment for many youth? We need to all work together in this matter, and all voices should be heard, from school board members to administrators, teachers, pediatricians, engineers, parents, and taxpayers. COVID-19 isn't going anywhere. We know that the masks will be lifted soon. How are we going to protect our children? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Basham. With that, we'd like to move on to the rest of the meeting. Invited guest, we have nobody scheduled for this evening. Moved co-curricular activities committee. Mr. Kerr is not here tonight, but he asked me to relay to the board that fall coaches meeting has been scheduled for this Thursday. And a letter received today regarding some conditions at the high school stadium complex. The restrooms will be looked at, will be reviewed. That's all he had to report for tonight. But that will move to the curriculum committee. There's nothing to report. Technology committee.
Just
First-
if you have any questions, check the website. We have the daily count. The COVID tracker is up and running and it's pretty informative.
Good thing. Personnel committee, there's nothing to report. Operations committee.
Nothing to report, sorry.
Policy committee, there's nothing to report. Community input committee, Mrs. Davis is not here tonight. Budget and finance committee, nothing to report. Solicitors report.
No report
Administrators report.
Okay, item A, approval to accept the retirement request for Nancy Cross, a paraprofessional at Hassan Heights Elementary School, effective January 7th, 2022. Item B, approval of guest teachers, Todd Anderson and Jacob Deemer. Item C, approval of winter coaches for the 21-22 school year. Jen Stevenson, girls basketball JV coach, retroactive to November 1st, 2021. Erica Wassel, girls basketball volunteer, retroactive to November 1st, 2021. Aaron Liederbach, girls basketball volunteer. Matt Sambita, elementary wrestling volunteer. Casey Miller, elementary wrestling volunteer. And Cody Wolf, elementary wrestling volunteer. Item D, approval of field trip request. The Oil City Track and Field requests approval to travel to Youngstown State University in Youngstown, Ohio on January 15th and February 5th, 2022 to compete in indoor meets. Item E, approval of bus mileage both with and without students. Item F, approval of the resolution to participate in the Aaron IU 28 Cooperative Purchasing Program for the 22-23 school year. Item G, approval to submit the comprehensive plan for 2021 through 2024 to the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Item H, approval to accept the Oil City Middle School roofing bid from the lowest responsible bidder as follows. Actually, the bids are scheduled to be opened on Monday, November 22nd at 11 a.m. So we'll have the bidding information for you next Monday night. And then informational, at your places, you will have a draft of the school board calendar for 2022. If you'll note, the months where it's conveniently along the left side, the left column, January, April, and July, we only have one board meeting. The other months have two, other than reorganization in December. We followed a similar schedule to the committee, the set committee meeting dates. That's yellow for you. The question is January 3rd, that's the first day back after the break. We don't always have a committee meeting need, but if we do, it's set for January 3rd. Is everybody okay with that? That was the difference for this year because it's early. Okay. Any questions or comments, concerns about the proposal for board meetings for next year? Okay, great. We'll have that will that be approved at the December? Yes, at the reorganizational meeting on December 6th. Okay. And that's all I have this evening.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.